Hello, everybody. My name is Diamond Mangrum, and today I will be going over Desiree's Baby by Kate Chopin. So, what is Desiree's Baby about? Desiree's Baby is just a short story about this woman named Desiree who lives in this big, wonderful house with her living husband Armand and their son. However, later on, her husband accuses her of not being white due to their son looking black. She leaves and takes their child with her back to her mother's house, and towards the end of the story, Armand finds out from a letter written by his mother that she was a black woman. So, Kate Chopin is the American author who was responsible for writing Desiree's Baby, and she was born as Catherine O'Flaherty in St. Louis, Missouri on February 8th, 1950, and died in 1904. It is said that she has written two published novels and around 100 short stories in the 1890s. In fact, it was just about more than 100 short stories throughout the 1890s. And some of those stories include The Storm, The Story of an Hour, A Pair of Silk Stockings, A Respectable Woman, and of course, Desiree's Baby, along with many more. And from what I found online, many of her stories focused more on very sensitive and intelligent women, just like Desiree herself. And on the bottom is just a link for you to click on in case you want to learn more about Kate Chopin and any of her other works that she has put out. So, the invisible identity in Desiree's Baby. The invisible identity that is in Desiree's Baby is a lot different than it would be in many other aspects. And in the story, Armand, like I said, accuses Desiree of being black on account of their son looking black. The story actually never gave us a clear explanation on Desiree's racial origin because she was adopted. Now, there was rumors that maybe she had came from a plantation or maybe her parents came from another country and came to the United States. However, it was never confirmed if any of those rumors were true, so there's no clear way of knowing if her parents are of different races or not. And like I said, we find out at the end that Armand's mother was black. However, what made it so odd in terms of invisible identities is that Armand's invisible identity was invisible not only to those around him, those who he's been around forever, but to himself as well, because he is just now finding this out as an adult that his mother was a black woman. And just to continue on with the invisible identities, what makes this story so different in terms of his invisible identities is that typically invisible identities refer to things that you can't see on the surface. So, like religion or sexual orientation or anything else. However, with this story, race became a part of that group because no one around Armand could tell that he was mixed race and not even himself. And Armand had spent most of his life, actually his whole life, being a part of the dominant group and receiving white privilege wherever he went without knowing that his own mother was of the non dominant group, her being black, of course. And unfortunately, the story ends before we know how Armand feels about this discovery or what he ends up doing about it after knowing. Frankly, I like to believe that maybe he apologized to Desiree, then maybe he realized that he could be the reason their baby is black and not her. But like I said, no clear way of knowing because we still don't know Desiree's origin. So we have no idea. But I like to believe that maybe he went to apologize or maybe he just ignored the whole thing. He just pretended he never knew that his mother was black. He pretends that he never found that out. And as I was just stating, Desiree is actually an example of invisible identity too, because we know at this point that Armand is of mixed race, and he is most likely the reason that their child turned out to look black. However, Desiree was adopted, so we don't know her racial origin. And Desiree's origin on where she comes from is a mystery not even to those around her, including her adoptive parents and even her husband, but to herself. And lastly, Desiree's baby looking black was hinted at the beginning of the story, and I did not know that. When Desiree's mother comes by to visit Desiree and her grandson. She was shocked to see the baby. And on the first read, I was just agreeing with what Desiree said, that, maybe she's just shocked because it's been basically a month since she last saw her grandson. So maybe she just didn't recognize him because he was growing up so fast. Maybe his hair grew out more. Maybe he was just getting bigger. So maybe she just didn't recognize him at first. However, once I reread the story, I realized that when Desiree's mother had the boy in her arms, she carried him to the lightest window in the room, the window that shows you the most light, and she checks out his skin tone. And basically, when she did that, she hinted that she could tell that the baby did not really look white, because why take the baby to another part of the room, put him in the window with the highest light, where you see the most light shining in, and hold him up and check him out, if not to think that maybe he does not look white to you. And frankly, I thought that that could even be seen as a microaggression, because she felt that she had to hold him up just to see if he was white. And I thought it was interesting because you could tell she wasn't really taking Desiree's reasoning at face value. She's just like, this is not the baby. Like, this is not the same baby I just saw. And she's like, oh yeah, he just got bigger. And then she ends up asking about Armand. Like, how does Armand feel about this? And Desiree's taking it as, oh, she's asking how does he feel about having a son, but really her mother is taking it as, how does he feel seeing his son with a skin tone that's not completely white? And as you can see throughout the story, Desiree doesn't really catch on to that, unfortunately. Not until the end, where Armand accuses her of being black, of course, because their baby looks black. Though that is the end of my presentation. I hope you all enjoyed it. I thought Desiree's Baby was a really great story. And if you would like to check it out, it is online. And obviously, if you want to read more about Kate Chopin and any other stories she has written, just look her up or click on the link in the description below. Have a good day.